scoreless for the series finale with the first-place Dodgers. Jordan Zimmermann goes for the Nats against reigning National League MVP Clayton Kershaw, who will have to deal tonight with Bryce Harper. Welcome to another beautiful baseball night at Dodger Stadium. It's a rubber game. The Nats won Monday night. It was the Dodgers behind Zach Greinke last night. Important to get a series win for coming up at San Francisco. I'm Bob, FP, along in just a moment. But since the All-Star break, it really hasn't been that great for the Nats. Dodgers got them started, winning 2 out of 3 at Nationals Park. And look at the Phillies. The Mets, by the way, have won again tonight. So now the deficit is 3. So the Nats, who led the division by just about that amount, now behind by a similar amount as we get into Game 3 of this series. So, FP, you hate to throw around, as we talked about the word every night, must win. But as long as New York keeps winning, the Nats have to keep pace somehow.
Well, the Mets took care of business against the Rockies at home. The Nats didn't, so now they're playing serious catch-up ball. And with Clayton Kershaw going tonight, you get a win tonight, you win the series here in Dodger Stadium, you take some serious momentum into a 4-game set in San Francisco.
Outstanding pitching matchup again tonight. Jordan Zimmermann for the Nats, and the starting pitching needs to put him out front tonight against a very good hitting Dodger ball club.
Yeah, his last start, he was good. He left with a 4-1 lead against the Rockies at home, only to lose that game 5-4 when the bullpen came in. So 6 2/3 of 1-run ball. He was fantastic. 6 strikeouts, no walks, and he's going up against a guy that was okay against the Nats last time at home. Only struck out 14. That's the second most he's ever struck out in his career. He had perfect game stuff. He's 1 win shy of reaching double digits for the 6th straight season. So Clayton Kershaw at home, tough task for the Nats hitters, but you got to get him early, get to that fastball early in the count, can't get the 2 strikes.
And, of course, the Dodger hitters have their hands full with Jordan Zimmermann as well tonight. Career numbers great against the NL West, kind of like Gio that we talked about on Monday night, and Kershaw against the Nats, well, pretty regularly with the wins, the good ERA, and everything that goes along with that. Little momentum grabber for the rest of the trip if the Nats can win this series.
Yeah, absolutely. A big game tonight against Clayton Kershaw, and you have 3 righties going in San Francisco, and then Madison Bumgarner on Sunday. So the Giants are going through a bit of a scuffle. The Dodgers, with a big win last night, turned it all around with a W here tonight.
Yeah, Giants lost again this afternoon. So Monday night, it was Ian Desmond, 3 for 4 with a home run and 3 RBIs. In fact, a couple of home runs. He went deep and hit the ball extremely well. Yasiel Puig, big swings last night. The 3-run triple, the 2-run homer. I mean, he was all over the Nats last night. Who's the hero in Game 3? Straight ahead. In you. High 80s in LA today, but it's going to be comfortable around game time here. Deciding game of the series. Some Nats guys can't wait to take those uniforms and take on the Dodgers. A lot of curly W's hanging out tonight. And what's the LA story with Bryce? It started way back in 2012 at P with his debut. Things went really well then, but a couple of funky things since then.
Yeah, first at-bat, well, his first hit was a double, but May 13th, 2013, Wall jumped out and grabbed him. Never really was the same after he ran into that fence that year, if you remember. And then Monday, the dive, the knee bang in the turf. After a couple of knee banging the turfs and gravel at Nats Park. There's been some good things here. He got his first hit. He actually homered off Clayton Kershaw in this ballpark, so looking for some of that here tonight.
And Bryce still around the top in a lot of categories. The RBIs are down a bit. He's 7th in that category just because of all the injuries and not enough base runners in front of him. Jason Worth had quite a game against Clayton Kershaw in D.C. July of 13, 2 homers in the same game. Not many hitters can say that facing this guy. It'll be Kershaw and Zimmerman. Nats, Dodgers on a gorgeous night in L.A. coming up. Beautiful night at Dodger Stadium where the home team's 38-19. Nats 27-31 on the road. It's 80 degrees. Humidity down from around 60 where it was last night, and just some gentle breezes blowing. The Nats are 10th in the league in batting average, 5th in runs, and 4th in homers. And Yunel Escobar in this series 4 for 8. Another multi-hit game last night. He's driven in a run. He's had a base on balls in his 121 hits, 9th in the National League, and he has 3 against Clayton Kershaw. Good to see Bryce back in that number 3 spot. Ryan Zimmerman cleaning things up. Kershaw, 13th career start against Washington.
And last start against the Pirates allowed 4 runs on 9 hits over 6 innings, so this is not mission impossible, folks. He gave up 4 runs. He's human last start. Gregory Polanco swung at the first pitch of the game and hit it out, broke up Clayton Kershaw's 37 scoreless inning streak. That was Friday against the Pirates. So look for the Nats to be aggressive, swinging early in the count. Maybe even Yunel Escobar swinging at the first pitch of the ball game. Let's see. Let's have the defense for the Dodgers tonight. Crawford, Peterson, Puig, the outfield. Hernandez, Callasco, left side. Peraza, Gonzalez, right side. Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. Last night's hero, there he is. Yasiel Puig. He's looking a little skinny to me today. What do you think, Carp?
Yeah, he did a lot of running around the bases last night. Why shouldn't he? 12-year veteran Danai Sanya has the plate. Lance Barrett first. Cucci, Dale Scott second base. C.B. Buckner is at third. Escobar batting .311. 7th in the National League. Kershaw ready. First pitch, he misses by a bunch. And we're underway right on time at 10:10 Eastern.
Hasn't thrown a strike all night.
See how long he makes you wait to throw one. Doesn't fall behind many, does he? Targets in. And Escobar hits that ball out to center, just drifting back. Jock Peterson. By the way, the Nats have made some early noise in this series. Couple of runs second inning the other night. So 18 games against 500 teams since the second week of July, but winning only 7. Kershaw, we don't like the stat quality starts that much, but when you have that many in a row at home, wow. And then Jordan Zimmerman, 8-2, 17 road starts in his career against this division. In fact, most quality starts over the last 3.5 years. Kershaw 94, Zimmerman 86. With James Shields in between 1, 2, and 3. On the inside edge to Anthony Rendon.
That's what he likes to do, establish that fastball in. You remember the 14 punch-outs he had last time against the Nats in D.C. on July 18th. He was following up that fastball in with one of his best sliders. He even said as much the next day. That's the best his sliders felt all year.
There's the big curveball. Wow. It's a different motion, but the drop reminds you of Sandy Koufax.
How do you hit that? You hit the fastball, and it's the only way you hit that curveball.
Wouldn't throw him an 0-2 yacker, would he? No, he goes with the heat. 94 off to the right side. But really, that's what Sandy Koufax's curveball used to do. I mean, straight down. And you'd see guys chopping at the ball if they had to swing. Rendon 2 for 8 with a walk in the series. Left side. Coming forward to get it after the first hop. Alberto Callaspo, high throw, 2 outs.
So September 2nd last year, real good memory for Bryce Harper here at Dodger Stadium. Not as good as his first hit. You always remember that. But I believe this broke up a Clayton Kershaw shutout. It was late in the game. Bryce Harper checking in with a tater and a hug from Jason Ward. So,
well, that's the versus Kershaw home run club right there, right?
Yeah. Jason has some ownage, so does Bryce.
So Bryce overall 1 for 9 against Kershaw. He was 1 for 5 with a run scored, base hit here Monday night. Right behind Escobar with 120 hits. Fouls one sharply off to the left.
That almost got Magic Johnson. He's in the house tonight.
That is one rebound he did not want to grab.
It's a large human. Small target over there.
They have got some kind of thing going here in L.A. Whoa.
Just missed.
Borderline EFA 74 up and into Bryce.
That was a curve that didn't curve. So last night was Laker night and Magic wasn't here. Tonight is LA Kings night and Magic is here. He's confused.
Yeah. Somebody gave him the wrong dates for both. and I asked the guys, if we were here one more night, would it be LA Galaxy night tomorrow with the soccer team?
Wow.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
What do you think about this? Yeah, he went. Close, but he went. Didn't look like it real time. Replay always shows you go, pretty much.
Bryce hitting .327 against left-handers. That's normal left-handers. Fastball just sails way upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bryce second in the league in hitting since a couple of days ago when he was number 1. Goldschmidt gathering some hits this week. He's at .337. Bryce 4 points behind. Outside 3-2.
Should get a pitch to hit with Ryan Zimmerman on deck. He's been as hot as anybody.
Yeah, and Ryan has 7 career hits against Kershaw. Harper will lift it out of play to the left side.
See, he does that with his hand. He's telling himself, stay through the baseball. Don't cut your swing off. Finish your swing back up the middle. That's what he does with his lead hand when he feels like he didn't get extended enough.
No strikes really in this at bat as far as being in the zone. Harper on the ground to Jose Peraza. Made his debut 2 nights ago. He's back in the lineup tonight and a 1-2-3 first for Kershaw. We knew this. Jordan Zimmerman will have to be good tonight. Not a big deal here. Here's the Dodgers lineup. 5th in the league in hitting, 4th in runs, 1st in homers. And Yasiel Puig hit their 138th of the year last night. His 9th, 34 RBIs. So a couple of hits in the series, both last night, 2 for 5 career against Jordan Zimmermann. Carl Crawford is in the leadoff spot. They're resting Jimmy Rollins tonight.
Their last 9 starts, 45 strikeouts, 6 walks, 240 average against. Nats are 6-3 over his last 9. Left with a 4-1 lead last start against the Rockies in the 7th inning. Nats would want to lose that one 5-4, but only gave up 1 run over 6 2/3.
And there's a reason why Carl Crawford is leading off. First of all, he's done a lot of that in his career, and Jimmy Rollins sitting down tonight. He is 19 for his last 34 against Nationals pitching going back several years, hitting safely in 9 out of 10 games. Crazy numbers. 5 out of 13 career against Jordan Zimmermann with an RBI.
So he has those numbers, and it took him 3 games to get in the lineup.
Yeah, how about that? He pinch hit Monday night, hit that homer off Doug Fister, but he wasn't in there against the right-hander Ross last night. But he's only hitting .230. Up with a fastball. Well done by Jordan Zimmermann, 94. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ramos shifting in. Crawford out to right center. Not that deep. Oh, maybe it is. Bryce misjudged it. Reading him, it didn't look like it was going anywhere. And then it got way over him for a leadoff double.
Well, you haven't seen that from Bryce Harper all season long. He's been as good as anybody in right field, and just a misread by the Nats right fielder to start this game. I don't know if he heard the sound you just heard on TV and thought it was going to die, and the ball kind of carried because the sun's still out here. Weird start to this one. He's taking some of the cleanest routes all season long in right field. So.
Yeah. Kike Hernandez, who can handle the bat, although you'll see him early in the count take home run swings like he's Gonzalez or Grandal or Puig. 285 hitter, occasional pop with 5 homers. Kike facing Jordan for the first time. Well, the ball Clint Robinson didn't put away last night. Now that double. See if Jordan can pitch around that in his very first inning.
Yeah, no time to settle into this one. Right to the A+ stuff out of the gate. He knows he doesn't have a lot of wiggle room going up against Kershaw.
One pitch. 94. He gets it by Hernandez.
See Hernandez trying to let that ball get deep and hit to the right side. Just let it get too deep.
Breaking ball up. Desmond's going to have to make a long throw on the run. There's a play at third, and Zimmermann gets it over there. A 6-3-5 double play. Carl Crawford waiting, and it really wasn't that close at third.
Well, it was a misread by Crawford out of the gate. You know, the general rule is if the ball's hit to your left, you advance at third base, but good base runners will read a chopper in front of him and advance. If he would have read that out of the gate, he could have got there, but he tries to advance late, thinking that maybe Ryan Zimmermann can't make that throw across. Well, he just showed him he could. Good play by Zimmermann recognizing this. It almost turned into a double play coming off the bag, getting rid of it quick, and a good tag by Yunel Escobar. He missed one last night.
Boy, Ryan got rid of that ball in a hurry. Well played at short and at first.
That was huge.
And the bases are empty for Adrian Gonzalez.
Huge. You can win a game in the first inning. You can lose a game in the first inning. That play was huge.
6-3-5 with a tag. On the corner, 1-1. Gonzalez didn't play Monday night after the Dodgers' brutal travel scenario from Pittsburgh the night before. He went 0 for 2 with a couple of fly balls to center and a couple of strikeouts last night. So an 0 for Adrian Gonzalez. 5 of 18 career against Zimmerman with a homer and 2 batted in.
I said the defense for the Nats: Worth, Taylor, Harper the outfield, Desmond, Escobar left side, Rendon, Zimmerman right side, and Wilson Ramos behind the dish.
(3-2) with Yasmani Grandal, the catcher, next. Oh, he got him. Gonzalez ready to toss the bat away. So a fly ball misplayed into a double, a misplay on the bases into a double play, and the Nats out of what could have been a tough inning.
Hours ahead beforehand, and Ryan Zimmerman told me that when he typically decides to get into his routine is around 2 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. That's when he'll get to the ballpark. He'll spend the next 2.5 hours going through a routine where he gets treatment, whether that's massage, hot tub, stim if he's got a little injury. Then he'll hit flips in the cage, light underhand tosses, and he'll watch film of the opposing starter for that night's game. The next hour will be stretching, fielding grounders in the first group during BP, and then hitting in the second group. He'll then go back into the clubhouse, get a snack, maybe a PB&J or a banana with peanut butter. Then around 6:30, maybe a half hour before the game, he'll get a few more flips in the cage. About 10, 15 minutes before the game, he'll head out to stretch, do some jogging. So a lot of work going in those few hours leading up to the game, guys. Players don't just show up at 7 for a 7 o'clock game.
And it's 7:25. He takes strike one.
Oh, good stuff, Dan. I think as a player, you always answer the question, what time do you get to the ballpark? 6? No?
It's our Coons.com sideline report with Dan.
The part you didn't see there is that the treatment you get after the game, after you talk to the media, then maybe you go in the weight room and lift after the game. And so hour and a half, maybe sometimes 2 hours after the game, you're getting in your car and leaving.
And when you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. Here's an 0-2 to Ryan. Kershaw at 94 trying to get that outside edge. Kershaw 13 pitches, 9 strikes. First inning. Ryan 7 for 16 career against him with a walk and a run batted in.
You know, it'd also been nice there if we would have had a split screen with Dan's routine during the day. 2 o'clock by the pool.
Yeah.
2:30.
3 o'clock massage.
Massage. 3:30 tie my tie practice. 5 o'clock makeup.
7 o'clock work with 2 really cool guys. Well done, Dan. He teed that one up for us, didn't he?
Yeah, I did. Walked right into it. That was a good report. I love that.
Ryan 3 for 8 in the series with a run batted in. RBI streak came to a close. Still swinging the bat well, and not easy to stop yourself and foul off a pitch coming in at 74 when you're all geared up. The at bat from Nissan. Low pitch and a bouncer. It takes a hop and then goes foul. Kershaw career record 107 and 55. Great win to loss ratio. 2.48 ERA. It's his 232nd start. He has thrown 19 career complete games. 11 of those shutouts.
I think just he's good covers it. Really good. Because you could sit here all night and say he's up there with Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale and all the legendary stuff that he's done here already, but that pretty much sums it up, right?
He's also won a Gold Glove.
He's good.
2-2. Boy, he just flips one up there. Then it goes diving, and he strikes out Ryan Zimmerman. Leads the major leagues now with 198 Ks.
Well, if you remember back in 2013, Jason Worth went tater off Clayton Kershaw at Nats Park. And Ian Desmond, helmet taker offer guy. I think one was a changeup down in, that one a fastball up. So a guy that's had some success against Kershaw. Teeing it up right here, right now. 346 career.
Yeah, 9 hits. Wow, he gets that call. Down around the knees for strike one. He'll really be tough, as if he's not already. Jason in this series, 2 RBIs, 1 for 9. Here comes that 73 thing again. He got Zimmerman on 74.
I mean, if you think Clayton Kershaw is a ball, you could actually turn to the home plate umpire and say that was high and low. Sandy Koufax, Clayton Kershaw hanging out.
1-2. Another super slow one. Another strikeout of a right-handed batter. So 1 strikeout away from 200.
You always see the strike 3 on the highlights, but how did he get to strike 3? And it was all set up by the first pitch fastball in. 94 miles an hour. Now Jason Worth thinking, I got to get to that fastball down and in. So as a hitter, you start your swing, your stride, your whole setup early, and it leaves you real susceptible to that curve.
Here's Ian Desmond. 2-homer night Monday. 4 for 8 in the series. When he singled in the first inning last night, now hit safely in 16 of 21 games over .310 during that time.
I don't know what that was. 91.
Yeah.
Late movement. He doesn't throw the changeup anymore, pitch he used to throw.
And he was heading for his dugout.
Well, he hit a spot, so by hitting his spot, he's thinking strike 3. He tried to go backdoor cutter right there at 95. Started off the plate, ran it back a little bit, didn't get the call.
And pulling the string on 3 consecutive quality right-handed hitters. 6 in a row for Kershaw to start the game.
day for Masson. 80s night coming up at Nats Park on Saturday, August 29th. Break out your leg warmers, your neon, even your Culture Club outfit of 3 Boy Georges. With a special ticket purchase, you can receive a Washington Nationals brand Rubik's Cube. While supplies last. For details, special ticket info, visit nationals.com/tickets. He was real big in the 80s. Showtime. And the guy next to him, Tommy Lasorda, he's the man.
Yasmani Grandal. Yeah, Hisashi Iwakuma of Seattle. No hits the Orioles today up the coast. And that's to the outside edge on Grandal in the series. 0 for 2, pair of walks last night. 1 for 9 against Jordan Zimmerman. Most of that is a Padre, and that's inside 1-1. Jordan's got some sneaky fast stuff going with that fastball tonight. Guys are really late for the 94. Yasiel Puig next. Alberto Callaspo. I'm a little surprised to look around Dodger Stadium and see that on the night Clayton Kershaw's pitching, it looks by far to be the smallest crowd of the series.
Well, it's not the 3rd inning yet. They're not here.
Breaking ball to the right side. Ryan Zimmerman to Jordan. Leadoff double first inning, and then he's been okay since. Next up, Puig.
Number 66, Yasiel Puig.
Last night 0. I'll tell you what, Joe Ross pitched well last night. Thinking about it driving home from the ballpark. If Escobar makes the tag at 3rd and a play is made in right field, you're looking at, if you give Puig that home run, maybe a 1-0 game against Zach Greinke, and the Nats were having some good at-bats again. I know Joe walked 4 guys last night, but he made a good pitch to Puig in a big situation.
Up the middle. Zimmerman gets his glove on it. A chance for Rendon. Got him. Great reaction by Jordan and Anthony. And a 1-4-3 for the second out.
So we got a 6-3-5, and now 1-4-3. And I think Jordan Zimmerman's leading the league in comebackers hard. It seems like every time he pitches, he gets one right back at him. Did a nice job of flagging that one down. Anthony Rendon with a sweet play to get the speedy Puig. Nice little cheat by Ryan Zimmerman over there to get the call. He's getting real good at coming off that base the same time the ball hits his glove.
Alberto Callaspo's had a good series. 2 hits each of the first 2 games. He's on a 3-game hitting streak, 5 for his last 10. .400 last 8 games. Target way in there. And then on a ball drifting out over the plate, he fouls it left side. Well, the Dodgers lead in the West is 3. Giants beaten today. Jams him pretty well. Fly ball. And Taylor to the gap. 1-2-3 for Jordan Zimmerman, bottom of the second. Shaping up as the great pitchers duel we expected. Wilson Ramos is our Honda duo. He's 1 for 6 career against Clayton Kershaw, looking for his first base hit in this series. 7-8-9 coming up for the Nats.
Yeah, 105 on the hit speed on the comebacker to Jordan Zimmerman. So it came in at 94, left at 105. And Jordan did a nice job of slowing that ball down and giving Anthony Rendon a chance. Puig smelling a knock all the way. Nice shovel by Rendon. I think a really good job by Ryan Zimmerman to get that call.
Yeah, Puig couldn't believe it. And here we go, top three. Kershaw, 29 pitches, 21 strikes. Zimmerman, 25 pitches, 18 strikes. Each facing 6 hitters. Ramos the other way, just a little bit late. Good looking swing.
See, the thing about Kershaw's first pitch fastball he's thrown tonight, yeah, you want to get on it, but it's been so well placed down and into right-handers that if you do barrel it up, it's hard to keep fair. It's 94-95 on the inner half of the plate. And if you gear up and look in there, I mean, it's tough. He's not really throwing anything over the plate.
Counts even, 1-1.
That's the slider at 88.
Ramos RBIs in 6 of his last 7 games. His next run batted in will be number 50.
See, if you're lucky enough and work hard enough to get into a 2-1 count, this is where you really got to take advantage, because these don't come along very often against this guy.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And just, I don't know, about a half-speed swing there to guide it to stay alive.
When you see a ball high out of Kershaw's hand as a hitter, you're thinking it's a curveball. That's why he gets a lot of chases up in the zone with the fastball late.
And he'll handle the comebacker. Gold Glove Award winner back in 2011. And that's 7 straight to start the game.
Nats destinations. You can join the Nats Miami September 11th through the 13th. They take on the Marlins, but don't delay. Space is limited. Your Nationals destination package includes game tickets, hotel accommodations, VIP ballpark tour, and laying by the pool with Bob and his Masson Speedo. Visit nationals.com/destinations for details and to book your trip today. I see red, people.
Well, I thought I was going to have a clean night once you got through the 80s promo, but not to be.
That ain't happening.
Bob takes a shot every night, ladies and gentlemen. Keeps on going. Up and in, 1 ball, 1 strike.
See if it's good for a run.
And Taylor, swing and a miss, 89. Boy, you name the speed, and he'll make you swing and miss no matter what.
Well, it's not about the speed, it's about the placement, the velocity. More about command than speed with this guy.
And looking up into the early twilight, Jose Peraza, and they'll have Puig, who had the best look, call them both off from right field. 2 down.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game. That's brought to you by Miller Lite.
Jordan Zimmerman has 5 hits on the year. Kershaw working up a good sweat on an 80-degree evening. Cincinnati on its way here after playing in San Diego. Well, the Nats will be on to San Francisco tonight 3-night games and a day game Sunday before on to Denver.
I believe it's Vogelsong, Kane, Peavy, and Bumgarner in that series.
Correct. Wow. Breaking ball that'll just about bring you to your knees so far in this one tonight. Kershaw perfect through 3. Magic Johnson. There's our old friend Cheryl Rampey, who worked for the Nats for many years. She works with Stan Kasten out here now.
It's Mike Jr. right there on the left. It's time for your T-Mobile tweet of the game using hashtag NatsCouchCam. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast that is brought to you by T-Mobile. Data strong fan photo. Bring it.
Jock Peterson against Jordan Zimmerman. When they met in July, Jock 1 for 3 with a walk in that crazy game interrupted by the lights or lack thereof.
Vince Scully does a preview of the game up on the big screen here before every game. Just kind of clue the fans in on what's going to take place tonight, who's pitching. And so that Jordan Zimmerman was lights out last time he faced the Dodgers.
Yeah, it was one of the weird phrases because Vinny said he was lights out for 4 innings.
Yeah, and they were like, what? Oh, yeah, that was that game. There he is. We took a selfie today. I'm framing that thing.
He came to you or you came to him?
Oh, he's been bugging me for 3 days. FP, can I get a selfie? FP. Okay, Vin, whatever. Jeez. Kidding.
Vinny did say when we were chatting about an hour ago that he would love for the Dodgers to play the Nationals in October so he could come and see our ballpark. He's never seen Nationals Park. He said the only trip he's made recently to the East Coast was to Pittsburgh because he wanted to see PNC Park. Everybody told him it's a great view of the city, and then when Vinny got up there he said, I'd rather see the game.
He is.
Because I was warning him about our vantage point.
He's a classic.
He's tremendous. 3-2 to Jock Peterson.
I mean, of all the people we showed, and that is not Vince Scully, he's the most famous, right?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of teams where guys have been around so long. I think of him. I think of Bob Uecker.
No, I'm talking about the people we've showed on TV tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy, Magic, or Vin. Go. Larry King. That's a tough one, huh?
Mary Hart sitting way back there, 5-6 rows behind home plate. She's a regular here.
Okay. Tommy, Magic, or Vin?
Well, for baseball,
Mary Hart's not
Magic's
in there.
third. I got to go Vinny. I mean, 65, 66 years speaks for itself. Tommy Lasorda, long time, but Vinny way back into the Brooklyn years. Although a lot of the thrills Vin Scully had was calling games of Tommy Lasorda's ball clubs.
But I don't even think I give you an answer on that one. Been in DC for 5 years now. I know how to play that game. They're all equally famous, Bob.
Good PC answer.
Thank you.
Entire bat from Mercedes. And Jordan Zimmerman walks Jock Peterson. I'll tell you, Peterson takes his walks. Second career against Jordan, 71st of the year. And Dan has more to follow up our conversation.
Hey, Bob, not only does Vin want to make it to D.C. so that he can see Nationals Park, he told me last year when we were chatting briefly, he'd like to make it to D.C. because that's actually where he got his start in broadcasting, working at WTOP. Did a little bit of on-air work there. That's where it all began for Vin Scully, WTOP.
And he lived up in Northwest, right by Georgetown. There's the rookie, Jose Peraza. Got his first big league hit here on Monday night. He was batting second. And he had that triple on which Bryce made a big time effort to get to it, got behind him. First major league hit. 21-year-old rookie from Venezuela. And a ball over by the Nats dugout off his bat.
I'll tell you what, Jock Peterson had a notion of going right there. He was trying to time Jordan Zimmerman, and he gave it a hard step towards second, but his timing was just a hair off.
He has stolen 3 bases and been caught 6 times.
Maybe that's why he stopped.
Jordan gave him the 8+ move right there.
Well, he's getting a walking lead, and what is that? He's kind of creeping, and then all of a sudden when he gets out to where he wants to get to, all his momentum is going towards second base. That might have stopped his walking lead. Let's see if he does it here. He's still trying to get that momentum going. See him trying to extend?
It's a busted bat. Desmond's going to have one play at first and makes an outstanding bare hand play. Peterson to second. Speedy hitter retired. And Ian Desmond's second gem of the night.
But we saw Danny Espinosa on the homestand get a base hit like this right over the pitcher's head, and this one had the same makings. Except for Ian Desmond says not so fast. What a great play by Desmond. And why was that a great play? Not because of the speed of the runner and the speed of the ball. But when a ball hits like that, it's got tons of English on it. It's spinning real hard. To barehand that ball and make a good throw, that's where that play was made.
Runner in scoring position. 1 out. Kershaw, 7 hits, 2 RBIs this year, 197 career batter.
Well, he's a lot like Max Scherzer in the sense that he's thinking, I'm going to drive in this run. That's all I need.
That's close. Some daylight in there. Desmond on the run, receiving a nice low throw into the runner.
Matt Williams has a question. Hand up in the air. I don't think they got it, but Randy Knorr's on the horn. Close.
No score, bottom of the third. Dodgers have had 2 base runners. The Nats none. and popped him up left side. Now Ian Desmond looking into the twilight. 2 outs. For the Achiever in you, PNC Bank, with our minor league report, Victor Robles, only 18 years of age. He's with the Auburn Double Days, right above rookie ball. Great arm. Everybody in the organization watching this young man, and now doing some big time things offensively as well. A couple of extra base hits, RBIs, steals, and scoring.
He's ready to call him up.
Remember that name.
This is a time of night where if you're standing in the outfield, you don't want to pop up. This is where it gets weird.
Strike outside edge to Crawford.
That's where you're talking to yourself, saying, please don't hit me a high fly ball. Because once it gets up out of the stadium, for some reason, this place is as bad as it gets. You just lose track of the baseball until that sky gets dark.
Crawford a double, right center, first time up. A ball on which Bryce Harper came in, then realized it was hit about 50 feet farther than he thought, and then it had to be chased down into the gap. Crawford then doubled up, trying to go to third on a ground ball by Kike Hernandez. Jordan wants his catcher to visit.
I think Bryce was fooled by the sound of that off Crawford's bat more than anything else. It had a funny noise, almost like he broke his bat. And as an outfielder, you use the sound off the bat, but maybe here at Dodger Stadium where you can't hear anything.
What?
Bryce didn't hear it. Well, it sounded like he broke his bat and he hit it in the gap.
Yeah. Zimmerman keeping the ball away from the pull side on Carl Crawford. Nine years with the Rays, couple with the Red Sox. A lot of injuries while he was with Boston, and now his third year with the Dodgers. Banged up last year too. And he bangs one to left field. That was weird. Crawford stood at home plate and watched the ball and somehow runs that into a single. It's like he didn't see it, thinking it might go foul or whatever. He does drive in the run, but he should be on second base. Carl Crawford with his 10th RBI.
I didn't even look at the baseball. I just looked down at Carl Crawford and assumed this was foul just by watching his body language, and then he decides to take off. I think the reason he took off is he heard the crowd yell. He had no idea where the ball was. Maybe he saw Lorenzo Bundy waving Jock Peterson, and then he took off. But I said it was a tough time of night to see the ball as an outfielder, maybe as a hitter too.
Yeah, by that time, way too late to make a turn and drive for two. Crawford used to be one of the better base stealers in the league. Not running much anymore. 472 steals, just 2 this season. So the leadoff walk to Jock Peterson comes back to hurt.
Jordan Zimmerman's got his great stuff going tonight. Just like you said, the leadoff walk and that blooper over the mound by Peraza turned into basically a sacrifice bunt, getting Peterson in scoring position.
Runner on the move, swing and a miss, inning over. Hernandez gone. The Dodgers pick up a run on the Crawford single. 1-0. Middle innings coming. Inside the numbers with Jeep. So major league leaders among third basemen. Escobar right there with Josh Donaldson, Manny Machado, Matt Carpenter, and Pablo. 4 for 9 in this series. Bookend singles Monday night, first inning, 8th inning. Last night, his 2 middle at bats were hits, 3rd inning, 5th inning.
It's a good take. Pretty good job against the Dodgers this year. 5 games, .429 average. Tater.
Chopper out to second base for Jose Peraza. 10 straight to start the game. So BCFP DK Dodger Stadium. After 11 o'clock back home. Thanks for staying up with us tonight. Rendon and Harper the next 2. The Nats still looking for anything against Clayton Kershaw. And that to the line in right field, and turns out well fouled.
That's where Kershaw starts to give you a different look second time around. He likes to establish a fastball early in and then really go to the off-speed second and third times.
Rendon rips it. Look out, Bob Henley. Shows him the fastball away. It's 1-2.
Well, you remember when he struck out 14 at Nats Park? It was a slider down and in with 2 strikes. He was just burying it against right-handers all day. And it looked like a fastball that broke late.
And there's that slow breaking ball into left center. Coming in to get it. Carl Crawford there in plenty of time.
But tonight he's kind of changing up his MO. It's the backdoor cut fastball with 2 strikes. He's starting it off the plate away and trying to bring it back.
First time up, Bryce battled to a long count, eventually grounded out to second.
And I think that was A.J. Ellis that caught him at Nats Park, and Yasmani Grandal riding back there tonight. So different catchers call different games.
You are correct on that.
50 pitches. I think he's getting tired. Right?
I mean, he always looks soaked out there, like he's ready to fall over after his next pitch. And then he just keeps on going. He's a Max Scherzer kind of guy. 22 starts this year. He's gone 6 innings or more in 21 of them. 13 times he's gone at least 7. 5 times he's gone at least 8. 2 complete games. 0-2 pitch. Harper hits it hard up the middle. Hit the mound. Kicks off of Kike Hernandez, who still gets it.
Bryce Harper with the good knee beats that out. This goes to the bottom of the fourth. Clayton Kershaw, 12 up, 12 down. He's doing his thing. Carl Crawford with a couple of knocks. Jordan Zimmerman has been good.
48 pitches, 36 strikes through 3. Leadoff walk last inning, a 2-out single by Crawford. The difference. He did not stop. C.B. Buckner rings him up from third, counts even 1-1. Crawford in the series 0 for 5. Rather, Gonzalez 0 for 5. Big swing at 94, unreachable.
Got a live fastball going tonight. Kershaw's velocity's been a tick higher, but Zimmerman's fastball's got a little bit better late life.
Then he goes breaking ball down in the dirt. Strikeout number 3. Gonzalez twice. Nissan will track it down.
Well, you're late on a fastball as a hitter. You start your swing early to get to it. Then any off speed, you're spent. Watch the hips, the shoulder, everything fly out of there. Gonzalez can't stay back. Good sequence and good execution by Zimmerman.
Got to bring in Yasmani Grandal, the catcher. Bouncing ball to Ryan Zimmerman, first time. This time it's Rendon to his right. So a 2-out showdown. Zimmerman and Yasiel Puig.
Yasiel Puig.
$105-mile line drive off Jordan Zimmerman's glove first time up. Picked up by Rendon, who threw him out by an eyelash at first. Strike 1. Well, he didn't get an up and in where Ramos wanted it, but he got it up enough.
Been late to the fastball in this series. You remember that big at bat last night when he hit a home run. First pitch fastball by Joe Ross, 94, was by him.
And he takes him up the ladder, and a very quick inning. Nicely done.
All right, everybody at home, you know what to do. Change seats, everybody. Change beds if you have to. What the heck? The Alexis dealers, they're donating $250 to the Children's National Health System for every hit a Nats player gets this game. It's for a wonderful cause. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
Still looking for that first one. Ryan Zimmerman, and that will be out of play over the Nationals dugout. Everybody downstairs playing the bounce, and then it went right into the Nationals bench area, so nobody gets it. Clayton Kershaw, 53 pitches, 40 strikes so far. Ooh, that one came back a little bit. Dan Isanya gave it a long thought before giving it ball one. Zimmerman hits it hard. One hopper. Kike Hernandez, who robbed Harper last inning. One out, fifth inning.
So a couple of hard hit balls back to back. Bryce Harper's, I think, hit the mound and kind of kicked toward Hernandez. And a healthy Bryce Harper beats that one out. Now Ryan Zimmerman, same way. First pitch strikes pretty much to everyone.
These three hitters, Zimmerman, Worth, Desmond, all struck out in the second inning. Kershaw just 1 K since, but 3 of the last 4 outs on the ground. Against the Nats, career 12 starts, 8-2 with a 2.31 ERA. To short again. Kike Hernandez again. 2 outs.
Nat season plan holders, you can renew your plan for the 2016 season. Season plan holders are renewed by August 31st. That's August 31st. And secure extra 2015 postseason tickets. Visit nationals.com/renew/renewal/get tickets for 2016. Was that Adam Dunn?
Long way from Texas. 0-1 to Ian Desmond.
That's the last pitch I'd throw Ian Desmond. I think he struck him out on it first time, but before 2 strikes when he's swinging, he likes the left-handed curveball.
Target in. Buries the 90, and it's 2 balls, 1 strike. When he struck out Ian Desmond, ending the second, Kershaw reached 200 strikeouts again. He didn't quite make it to 200 innings last year, 198 and a third. Missed a little time. He made about 6 fewer starts than he usually does. And he is mowing down the Nats. That was a 10-pitch inning, 3 ground balls, 5 of the last 6 on the ground.
Obviously, Clayton Kershaw absolutely dominant so far. Perfect through 5, and then Jordan Zimmermann pretty darn close himself. A leadoff walk to Jock Peterson in the 3rd, scored on a base hit by Carl Crawford, and that's all the scoring up to this point.
Yeah, Crawford the only Dodger with hits. Callaspo, Peterson, Peraza, bottom of the 5th. So that's pitch number 47 for Jordan. 44 strikes. Good looking breaking ball to the inside edge, and the count's 0-2.
Well, fastball command's been good. The curveball slider combo on point. That by design, trying to chase, get him to chase.
Foul. Got him on the hands with 93 upstairs. Michael A. Taylor for the first out, bottom 5.
All right, here's your T-Mobile fan photo. And that is Andrew. Is that kid real? Tweet your strongest fan photo, hashtag Nats Couch Cam, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast that's brought to you by T-Mobile. Cute kid, if indeed he's real.
Jock Peterson walked to lead off the 3rd. Several throwovers. Managed to get the 2nd on that little flare over the mound on which Desmond threw out Peraza. And then after Kershaw popped up, Crawford lined one that even he didn't see to left field to put the Dodgers on top. That's a great breaking ball at 82. Jordan commanding the strike zone right now. Then another good one. Ryan to Jordan. 2 outs. Number 8 hitter Jose Peraza, the rookie, next.
When you're down 1-0 against Clayton Kershaw and he's doing what he's doing to you, it looks like 10-0. But I mean, it's all it takes is somebody run into one. So much baseball left in this game. Doesn't look great right now, but as we've seen a lot this year, things can change in a second.
Late breaker on the slider.
I mean, Carl Crawford's got both hits. The first one, if Bryce sees, should have been caught. You got both guys flirting with perfection here tonight.
Escobar cuts it off, gets the speedy Peraza on a close play at first. So Kershaw was on deck, and he's getting ready to try to stay perfect.
So what's the Miller moment? Well, a couple of hard-hit baseballs. That one off the mound, ricocheting toward Kike Hernandez, makes a nice play. And this one, two-hopper to Hernandez left. Yeah, that's your Miller moments. Because that guy's been pretty good.
Kershaw and Ramos, and he gets a high strike. Wilson a comebacker first time. Taylor and Zimmerman top of the 6th. And nowhere in the box score does it say 2 hard hit balls. There's just nothing to notate at the moment.
Well, somebody didn't change seats last inning. That's all there is to that. You know who you are.
Big curveball. Wow. 74. Mercedes with a hammer.
20 miles an hour slower than his fastball. Good luck. When a guy's in a groove like this, I know it's old school, but step out. I mean, he's in some kind of rhythm. He's just getting and going, getting the sign, got a great tempo going. Whatever you could do to disrupt him, not that you can, but it couldn't hurt, right? What do you got to lose at this point?
And that's at the knees. Wilson Ramos looking strikeout number 5. And because he has just 5 strikeouts, that pitch count's pretty low.
Yeah, definitely sitting on something soft. Got the fastball.
Here's Michael A. Taylor.
You know, a base hit bunt is in play here.
And Taylor gashes one to center. Peterson can only watch it. Hits at the base of the wall. And that's a loud way to break up a perfect game.
Like I said, a double off the wall is in play here. And
27.
There goes the no-hitter. 5 1/3 innings of perfection by Clayton Kershaw. And Michael Taylor getting a hold of this one. Folks, the ball doesn't carry here at night. He hit that ball better than it looked, so a 1-out double by the Nats' 8th hitter. Now Jordan Zimmerman, who can swing the bat, trying to tie this game up.
That quickly, things can change. Jordan 3 RBIs this year. 15 in his career, strike 1. That's Michael A. Taylor's 4th hit in 10 at-bats here at Dodger Stadium.
Game on.
And Kershaw will bounce off the mound, handle that tapper. Nowhere for Taylor to go on the 2nd out.
Third baseman, Escobar.
One of the Nats' best hit men lately, Yunel Escobar. Like Taylor, 4 for 10 in this series. And hunting his 35th RBI.
His first time up, got a first pitch fastball. Second time up, got a first pitch changeup from Kershaw. I think it's the only one he's thrown tonight at 85 miles an hour. A pitch he really doesn't throw too often. He knows Escobar's going to be aggressive right here. Good arm in center, good arm in right. You can run on Crawford and left.
Escobar up the middle, and it won't get through. And Hernandez throws out Escobar from up the middle. That kid's playing some kind of shortstop tonight with Jimmy Rollins not in the lineup, and the Dodgers aren't all off the field just yet.
Well, Matt Williams wants to take a look at it. Randy Knorr ran down to the phone, and they're not going to check it. And what a play by Kike Hernandez into a slide. Good pick by Gonzalez. And
bottom of the 6th inning. Dodgers 1, Nats nothing. Clayton Kershaw, the hitter, popped up to short, first time up. Zimmerman to work, and he's got him well behind in the count now. Crawford and Hernandez next. Clayton Kershaw can take a seat. Jordan Zimmerman, 5th K of the night.
Oh, that play by Kike Hernandez was great. Just the fact that he kept the ball in the infield. I'm thinking, okay, he just saved the run, but he wasn't happy with that. He got up, spin move, got rid of it quick with something on it. And Yunel Escobar chose to dive into first base. And you usually dive into first when you think you're out trying to sell the call, but with replay now, that never works.
You're right, it has changed that strategy.
Yeah, try to confuse the umpire. You know you're out, so you throw your body forward. It's actually slower. And we've seen a few times this year where they go to the review, and every single time if you dive, you're out.
Fastball, sounded like a broken bat. And then Taylor right there. Crawford, first time he's been retired tonight. And that's 9 in a row for Jordan Zimmerman. So the Dodgers box consisting of 2 hits. Crawford's first inning double, base running mistake, doubled him at 3rd in that inning, but he drove in a run in the 3rd after the leadoff walk by Jock Peterson and a 1-hop little flare on the infield that had advanced Peterson to 2nd. The pitching duel we expected.
Excuse me, Carb. Not that Jimmy Rollins wouldn't have made those plays tonight, but Kike Hernandez has had some kind of night with the leather at shortstop.
Yeah, having a big time influence on this game. The play on Harper earlier. A couple of ground balls, Zimmerman and Worth in the 5th. And that last dandy robbing Escobar.
Felipe Alou used to do that with Pedro Martinez, put his best defense out there. Because his thinking was one run would win the game, and he wanted everybody, his best defenders at every position. And Davey Johnson was the opposite. When he had his ace out there, he would put his best offensive lineup in, thinking, if I score 2 or 3 runs, I'm going to win the game, and I don't care if they catch the ball.
Front door, see ya. 1, 2, 3. 10 straight for Jordan Zimmerman, matching Kershaw. Now the Nats need to score.
MLB.TV Premium for live or on demand on over 400 devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Top of the 7th, Anthony Rendon. Ground ball to third, fly ball to left. 73 over 53. The pitches and strikes now by Clayton Kershaw.
Big inning for Kershaw. 2, 3, 4 coming up. Harper's hit the ball well. Zimmerman's hit the ball well.
So 6 innings with less than 3 earned runs. Another quality start at home. 27 in a row. And Rendon will serve one over to left field. Anthony has his 3rd hit of this series. Tying run aboard. First time the Nats get a leadoff man on.
Rendon's hit the ball well.
Here's Bryce. Grounder to second, and then that hard hit ball that hit the side of the mound to the shortstop Hernandez, ending the 4th inning.
Boy, sitting on a first pitch fastball, got it right in his turbo zone, down and in. And that's why you're seeing that look on the face of Bryce Harper. He wants that one back.
Center fielder Peterson playing Bryce, slightly to pull. Big gap left center. A lot of room left field line. That one hangs and stays way inside. 1-1.
I don't think Kershaw's been fully convicted to the curveballs he's thrown Bryce Harper tonight. Looks like he's just maybe overthrown him.
Bryce is not homered in August. Last long ball, a couple of them, in the July 29th game at Miami. .95 by him. Counts even 2-2.
NL home run leader versus reigning MVP. This is great.
Yeah, strikeout leader to go along with that with 202.
Does he hardball him again here with 2 strikes? And this is where, if you're Anthony Rendon, you're looking for anything in the dirt to advance 90 feet. You see that curveball out of his hand, you think it's going to be short, take off.
One nothing Dodgers, 7th inning. Hits are even at 2. And Harper strikes out. Number 6 for Kershaw.
Let's check out the sequence. Clayton Kershaw did not mess around with Bryce Harper. First pitch fastball challenged him at 95, right down the heart of the plate. Token curveball right there, and then he just goes back to country hardball. 94, 95, and 95 for strike 3, all in the same spot. Bryce Harper couldn't catch up.
Nissan tracking the entire AB in the sequence. And that's ball 1 to Ryan Zimmerman. Swinging strikeout, leading off the 2nd. Grounder to short, leading off the 5th. Ryan still 7 for 18 career against the Dodger left-hander.
Get a good one, let it rip.
Ryan had a big rip in the series. Zimmerman 3 hits and an RBI. It's interesting looking out there. The Dodgers play their outfield the same on Zimmerman as they did the left-handed hitter Harper. Slightly offset out there, Jock Peterson. Big gap over short. Hey, look at this guy. You wonder how he has 6 losses. Wonder how Max Scherzer has 8, the way these guys throw the ball. Two and Zimmerman taken downstairs by Kershaw. 2 outs.
I think he went 2-1 changeup to a 2-2 slider.
The fielder.
And Ryan Zimmerman frustrated that he offered at that, but pretty good pitch by Kershaw.
Jason Worth, strikeout and a grounder. More hits against Kershaw, 9 than any Nationals hitter.
You wonder if Anthony Rendon's thinking about going here.
You're right what you said earlier. It was high and low.
Yeah, they can be both. Well, pitch number 88 coming from Kershaw. So his pitch count not a problem.
Yeah, 97 last time at Pittsburgh, but that was for 6 innings. That game you talked about when he had the streak ended early, gave up 4 earned runs to the Pirates on 9 hits. 5-4 loss. Dodgers had a rough weekend in the Berg. Nats got him first game here. Greinke got them back even in this series last night. Now it's 1-2. And that curve stays upstairs. That's big, because Rendon gets a head start. Anything not right at an outfielder, as far as the hit, and the Nats might have a chance.
Well, as an outfielder in this situation, you take a few steps back, give yourself some room, nothing over your head. See Peterson playing deep, Crawford playing very deep, but everything's been away here to Worth. Let's see if they come in 3-2. They are.
Down and in, way down there. And after the Rendon hit, he strikes out 3 in a row, 8 on the game. And we arrive at our Hyundai 7th inning stretch. Do not try this on LA freeways. In fact, there's no possible way.
Has been on point since the first pitch of the game. Slider's been good, curveball's been good. Fastball's been elevated late. It's got the jump to it that you get used to every 5 days with a Jordan Zimmermann start. So really hasn't done anything wrong here in this one except for run up against a buzzsaw on Clayton Kershaw. Now it's time for Toyota Case for Kids. Washington area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a donation of $37 to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season.
Gonzalez, Grandal, Puig, 3-4-5 for the Dodgers. Bottom 7.
Just for the record, that last slider, Clayton Kershaw through Jason Worth, might be his best pitch of the night. 3-2 pitch, and he just threw it as hard as he could, and it was unhittable.
Adrian Gonzalez now in a little over a game and a half, 0 for 6 against the Nats with 4 strikeouts. Jordan due to bat 4th in the 8th. And a good hitter unable to catch up with that fastball here in the 7th inning. Breaking ball hit hard and foul. Ball had enough hook on it. Just missed the line.
How'd that girl down there, that ball girl, know that was foul? Hit so hard. She made one heck of a backhand play. If that was fair, she was going to have to hit the cutoff man. I don't think she had time to look at first base umpire Lance Barrett. She was thankful that was foul.
Swing and a miss. And that's 3 of the last 4 outs on strikes for Jordan Zimmermann. Mercedes-Benz tracks strikeout number 7.
Well, he's got some kind of rhythm going too. Making everybody aware of that heater and then dropping the curve late. This is as good as Jordan Zimmermann's been all year.
Yasmani ground ball. I guess I could call him ground ball tonight. 0 for 2. Grounder to first, grounder to second. Dodger catcher 0 for 2, 2 walks last night. So other than Yasiel Puig, these 2 nights against the Dodgers A lineup, good job of stopping these guys. It was just too much Puig last night.
But this is playoff baseball. This is what you're going to see with all the ball clubs in October. 2 really good pitchers going toe to toe, and how do you score? How do you find a way to push a run or 2 across the plate? That's why the home run is so overrated in my mind in the regular season. It's great to see, but those home run hitting teams, it doesn't play in October. You got to find ways to score runs.
94. Right at the knees. Don't toss your bat away. Grandal can hold on and walk it back to the dugout. And Jordan Zimmermann on a big-time roll here.
Well, more importantly than not tossing your bat away is not getting the attention of Dan Iasonia in a 1-0 ball game when you have Clayton Kershaw dealing. Sometimes you just got to wear those. You go back to the dugout and not wake the umpire up.
12 in a row for Zimmermann with Puig stepping in.
You're going to keep swinging at the high fastball. Jordan Zimmermann's going to keep throwing it.
Yeah, threw one up about helmet level to strike him out last time. Matt Thornton, as we mentioned, Zimmermann would bat 4th if anybody gets on in the 8th. That's Above belt high. Slider right in the zone. 2-2. Up and in. 9 strikeouts. 13 consecutive Dodgers set down. A pair of gems on the mound tonight. Back to 1984 on a day when Harmon Killebrew, Don Drysdale, and another great Dodger, Pee Wee Reese, go into the Hall of Fame with Rick Farrell and the little White Sox shortstop Luis Aparicio. Look at that young Harmon Killebrew. Senators in their old red pinstripes, an imposing figure in the on-deck circle, and watch him lose one at Old Griffith Stadium.
Well, that was a simple swing, huh?
Way out there.
I love the sleeves on the old unis, how high they were cut.
One of the best teams Harmon played on, the '65 Twins, ran into Drysdale and Koufax in the World Series that year. A lot of people forget Don Drysdale retired at the age of 33 because of shoulder problems. Sandy Koufax retired early because of his elbow. Ian Desmond, a strikeout, a ground ball. 1-0 game. Well, how many swings and misses on balls landing right in the dirt in front of Yasmani Grandal? 50-50 proposition, huh? Ripped. Guess who's there? Kike Hernandez. Good swing by Ian Desmond. And now Kershaw 4 in a row since the Rendon base hit. Drew Storen. In case the Nats have to hit for Jordan, Ramos and Taylor will decide that.
Well, I don't think there's anybody better in baseball of mixing it up second, third, and even fourth time around than Clayton Kershaw. It's almost like facing 3 different pitchers. You know, usually when you see a guy 2 or 3 times, you got a pretty good idea what you want to do.
And Ramos gets a hold of one to left, approaching the track, and halfway onto it, Carl Crawford pulls it in, 2 outs. You could tell by the sound Wilson didn't get all of it. Pretty strong to get it that far.
A slight breeze blowing out to left field right now, but a bent arm swing. That sound just off the sweet spot, and you really got to hit it here at night to get it out of here.
Well, Michael A. Taylor really hit one last time up, way over the head of the center fielder, Jock Peterson. With one out in the sixth, he never made it beyond second base. Now he's going to have a 2-for-3 night against one of the best pitchers anywhere.
And he has to seal sometime early in the count. Kershaw very quick to the plate. But what's the worst thing that can happen right here? If you guess and go, if they pick you off, maybe you beat the relay throw. Try to manufacture one here in the bottom of the eighth. Another good swing by Michael Taylor.
Danny Espinosa is 2 for 13 career against Clayton Kershaw. That finishes Jordan Zimmerman's night. 1 run on 2 hits in 7 great innings with 9 strikeouts.
He was awesome.
Kenley Jansen, Dodger closer, 21 saves. Espinosa looks at a strike. Boy, Jordan Zimmerman walked 1 batter, and that's the guy who scored.
He's just so darn quick to the plate. In his move to first, he gets that lean going a little bit. See a frisbee on the field. Pretty good throw by Crawford. He's just a tough read for a base runner is the point I'm trying to make.
Low and in. Taylor took a look, but Grandal kept it close.
Boy, in a 1-0 game against a guy like Clayton Kershaw, you want to look for something in the dirt. Any way to get in a scoring position. 90 feet, so precious.
Espinosa to the right side and foul. Gonzalez staying on the bag, knew he could reach it. So as you all back home are on the verge of Thursday, good morning to you. Bob, FP, and Dan here at Dodger Stadium. Quite a ball game. A Kershaw gem, a Zimmerman gem so far. They've combined to strike out 17 batters, and they've given up a grand total of 5 hits. Nats have out-hit the Dodgers 3-2 last night. They out-hit them 7-6 and lost by 5 runs.
Well, if it's tomorrow in D.C., tell us how this one ends.
Right now, Kershaw trying to keep the Nats scoreless for the 18th consecutive inning. Runner on the move. Kike Hernandez has to charge it. He's been flawless tonight, and he throws out Danny Espinosa. To the bottom of the 8th, it remains 1-0. Not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals.
A little game summary as we go to the bottom of the 8th. 1-0 Dodgers. Carl Crawford doing all the damage offensively for the Dodgers, who have 2 hits, but he drove in the only run of the game. Go back to the 3rd inning. Jock Peterson led off the 3rd with a walk. A chopper over the mound, or a blooper, I should say, over the mound by Jose Peraza got Peterson in scoring position. Then Carl Crawford didn't even know where that ball was, and he's got the only RBI of this game.
Call to the bullpen package by the UPS store, your one-stop shop for all your small business needs. Let us handle your mailbox service needs. We love logistics. The call to Drew Storen, 46th appearance. 2.70 ERA, and that's only because he's been roughed up his last couple of times out. That ERA way under 2 for a long time.
46 appearances. Job, keep it a 1-0 ball game.
Callaspo, Peterson, Peraza, 6, 7, 8. And the barrel of the bat went straight back to the screen as the bat just broke right in half on that foul ball.
That bat did not die a hero.
Oh, careful, buddy.
Oh.
Our bad boy hoping theirs out. Callaspo 1 for 5 career against Drew. League's only hitting .210 against him.
He almost got harpooned.
Callaspo 0 for 2 tonight. 4 for 10 against the Nats in this series.
I can't hear you, Dodger fans. Make some
noise! Jammed him. This ball will be out of play.
Did you just hear somebody say make some noise?
Yes. Guy on the screen named Big Boy.
Looking forward to getting to AT&T Park tomorrow, where you don't have all of this stuff.
No balls, 2 strikes. Drew working that high heater right now.
Visit the Fitz this summer for great baseball, affordable fun, tons of August highlights, all kinds of awesome promotions. For all your ticket and promotional information, visit PotomacNationals.com.
Ramos moving well inside. He's that heavy sinker at mid-90s. So Jordan Zimmer to 93 pitches, 71 strikes, a run on 2 hits, 1 walk, 9 Ks, 7 really good innings. Got him. Slider into the left-handed batter. 10th strikeout by Nats pitching tonight.
Center fielder, number 31.
Nationals baseball on Masson, brought to you by Land Rover. Above and beyond. That's the Santa Monica Pier with the big Ferris wheel. Seemed like you're going to fly into the ocean on that roller coaster.
I got news for you right now. Jimmy Rollins just hopped into the on-deck circle, and Clayton Kershaw's night is over. No, maybe not. That's the 8th spot. My bad. Check that.
Here's Jock Peterson.
Wishful thinking.
I liked where you were taking us.
Yeah, I was trying. Tommy Jansen's up in the bullpen, too.
And Jock was going to swing at that pitch no matter what. And he did.
That might be the worst breaking news report ever, by the way. Where's Wolf Blitzer when you need him? He was here last night.
Go ask Larry King. Low and inside. Still pacing, still in the game. 101 pitches, 71 strikes for Kershaw. And that ball is blistered way foul.
The same thing last night. What that tells you as a hitter is you're just a little quick and your hands are coming around the baseball. We always talk about your hands inside the ball and keeping that inside pitch fair. If you have a little loop to your swing and you're coming around it, that's what you do. You pull them far, foul.
23 years of age, Jock Peterson. He had signed a letter of intent with USC, but the Dodgers made him their 11th rounder, 2010, out of Palo Alto High School. And that gets him on the back foot. Drew Storen, a wild slider on that one. I've got Jimmy Rollins heading back to the dugout.
But staying in the on-deck circle, so maybe I was right after all.
Looks like Andre Ethier for Jose Peraza.
Andre Ethier taking cuts. So important to keep this a 1-0 game. Even though Jansen's a legit closer, this is a case of you just want to see anybody else but Clayton Kershaw. Anybody.
Strike of the knees.
And that's at the top of the order, due up in the 9th.
Ethier as a pinch hitter, 2 for 12, 2 runs batted in. '88, the changeup, a beauty. (0-2) with 1 out. He made a commitment and still alive. Able to pull it back.
That wasn't even close. Try and look in the Dodgers dugout. I don't think Clayton Kershaw has a helmet or batting gloves on. Jimmy Rollins staying on deck. You might half think that they'd throw him back out there, but it looks like his night is done. That was a million on that throw over by Storm.
Ramos inner edge again. And the slider is hammered to right. That's going to hit the high fence out there. Peterson to third. He'll be held by Lorenzo Bundy. Horrible throw on the relay. And the runners will all move up. 2-0 Dodgers.
Those are things you can't do in a 1-0 game. Both runs are going to score.
Yeah, that's 2 bags for everybody. Little league home run. And it's 3-0 Los Angeles.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if we have it, but Jock Peterson, for some reason, stopped at second base. So Lorenzo Bundy had to hold him. Bryce Harper got it in quick, but Peterson either stumbled or something happened coming around second base. And then it just gets weird. Rendon launches it in the dugout. Watch Peterson right here. Did he think that he caught it? He doesn't know. If he goes full speed, he scores easily, but the point is irrelevant because everybody scored.
Well, they can go ahead and bat Jimmy Rollins now and not worry too much about it. 3-run lead, a 2-base error on Anthony Rendon on that relay. And a ball popped over by the dugout. Not reachable. Anthony Rendon's second error of the year. The Nats 65th. And that really created some separation.
I mean, Harper does a good job of just slinging this in. So Bundy had to stop Peterson, and then Rendon, who's always accurate, just spins, and Drew Storm was there to back up, but it didn't matter. Unbelievable.
And a ball outside to Jimmy Rollins. Well, a hit batter with 1 out. A double. You can call it a 2-base error. Kind of turned into a 4-base error. With the runners combined and Kershaw done. And Drew misses low and inside.
The point I want to make right here is on the road with the crowd cheering. Even if you communicate to Rendon, he's not going, or hold it, you're not hearing him. And as a second baseman going out on that throw, you're on an island. So it's up to you to roll your head and to be your own eyes, so to speak, when maybe the trail cutoff man usually can be your voice and say in your ear, home, 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 or no, 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 no. But where Anthony Rendon was there, he was on an island. Dodger Stadium, everybody on their feet going crazy. But it's up to you as a cutoff man to roll your head, to peek before the throw is made and find the runner and know what he's doing.
2-2, and Jimmy Rollins on a tough slider stays alive.
And it goes a lot faster down there, and it's easy to say up here, but it's cutoffs and relays 101. You line yourself up. As soon as you get yourself lined up, you peek over your shoulder. You find the runner. Then you find the outfielder with the ball. You peek one more time, and you set yourself up to home. And if Anthony Rendon saw Jock Peterson going, that's why he threw it. He wasn't going there.
Jimmy Rollins fouls one away.
Price threw the ball in the stands, and the fan deflected it back out on the field. He had to run all the way down the corner and do it again. That's what we're waiting for.
And Rollins hit a fly ball to center for Michael A. Taylor. 2 down, top of the order coming up. We'll be in San Francisco tomorrow night. Steven Strasburg was fantastic. How about in the city by the bay as he goes on the road with the Nats? Saturday against the Rockies, 3 hits, a run, 7 innings. Walked nobody, struck out 12. Ryan Vogelsong is 7 and 8 for the Giants with a 4.26 ERA. 9:30, Nats Extra will join you straight up 10 o'clock. Drew Storen done. A tough luck bottom of the 8th for him, and with Crawford coming in, Matt Thornton, the lefty, coming in. 3-0 Dodgers. Matt Thornton and Carl Crawford here.
Carl Crawford.
I see the arsenal for the left-hander. Matt Williams playing matchup ball. Bringing in Matt Thornton to get out Carl Crawford, try to keep this a 3-0 game. Just real weird seeing Drew Storn not finish an inning with nobody on, and he can't be happy by what happened behind him. Or maybe even that he's out of the game.
Crawford right up the middle. That'll make at least one of the runs against Storen earned.
Shortstop, number 14.
Next up, the shortstop is Kike Hernandez. Rude greeting by Crawford there. And now Hernandez, who's 0 for 3, but has played a really good game at shortstop behind Kershaw. Perfect 92 to the outside edge.
Yeah, right-handers hitting 100 off Drew Storn, and lefties 299. That's probably why Matt Williams went to Thornton. But still, you're talking about a guy that's used to closing ball games and not coming out regardless who's up there. And all of a sudden he's sitting on the bench and he's a matchup guy, and that's got to rattle him. I'm sorry, I have to say it. Matt Williams playing the percentages, left on left, right on right in the 8th inning. Looks like that's how it's going to go.
Low 3-1. Now they're calling both of those runs earned against Storen. And Thornton walks the right-hander Hernandez, and it'll be lefty-lefty now with Adrian Gonzalez.
Still big to keep this a 3-0 game. You just never know what's coming in out of the bullpen, and when you've scuffled against a guy like Kershaw all night, because he had plus stuff here, almost unhittable at times. Even though Jansen's a qualified closer, the ball's going to look bigger to these guys in the 9th, you're thinking. You know what's coming. It's going to be a cutter. You had no idea what was coming all night long with Kershaw.
To the right side for Anthony Rendon. He takes care of that. The Dodgers pick up 2 huge runs. They've got 3 outs to get. The Nats have to battle to win a series. Now the Nats have to try to solve Kenley Jansen. Andre Ethier stays in after batting 8th, pinch hitting, and plays left field. Jimmy Rollins pinch hit in the 9 hole. He goes to short. Kike Hernandez goes from short to second, and the pitcher spot is the leadoff spot for the Dodgers, and that's Kenley Jansen.
We see all the fastballs. You know what you're going to get. And most of them cut, averaging 92 miles an hour. 32nd appearance for the Dodgers closer. And you see the control, 53 strikeouts versus just 4 walks, and opponents hitting 181.
3 of those strikeouts Monday night against Harper, Moore, and Worth. He was kind of mopping up as the Nats are on their way to an 8-3 win. Escobar gets jammed on the first pitch. Rollins peels off. Ethier has it. First out.
See, that's not good baseball. You're down by 3 runs. You need base runners, and you swing at the first pitch. I mean, you got to get somebody on. Anthony Rendon, Dome Night, August 25th, 7:05. 3-game sit against the Padres. First 25,000 fans, you get a Garden Gnome. Check out all the social media for more information. You're trying to make a guy throw strikes. You need base runners, trying to pop one out of here and tie this game up. I guess with the 53 strikeouts versus the low amount of walks, you figure the odds of walking aren't very good.
90 cutting away from Anthony Rendon. In case the Nats rally and rally big, Casey Jansen. Lays off the high fastball. So the Dodgers trying to improve their lead over the Giants in the West to 3.5. And the Nats, without a rally, would be 3.5 behind the Mets. Late breaker. Well, that cutter's really good, huh?
And it's subtle. And he really doesn't throw the slider a whole lot, but the cutter acts like a slider with that late movement on the same plane away from right-handers. Just kind of slides across.
6'5", 265, Kenley Jansen. 44 saves last year. And looking for his 22nd right here. Up and away it went. 2 outs. Bryce Harper and Kenley Jansen. Bryce is 2 for 4 against him with a home run, a walk, 2 RBIs.
Dodgers have a .622 winning percentage with Kershaw and Greinke, .515 with everybody else.
Oh. Pretty amazing.
Heartbreaking
ball downstairs. 0-2.
Well, Carp, I talked about earlier this season, Bryce Harper's not staying on his back knee. I mean, he was in there tonight. You look at his swings, you rarely see him not catch up to 95. And it's because we've talked about all season long, he's hit off his legs. Tonight he can't stay on him because that knee's barking. He's kind of drifting, and that's because of the sore back knee.
Dodgers win the series in 2 hours and 20 minutes tonight. The Nats shut out for the 2nd game in a row, and they haven't scored for the last 19 innings. Three-hitter by the Dodgers staff, Kershaw. 10-6, and Jordan Zimmerman a hard luck 8-8.